All right, we've got Jason Cammisa in the house. Or shall I say, I'm in Jason Cammisa's house right now. This is the Mancave.
Professionally, I've driven 3,000 different cars in my career, and then probably another 500 or something for fun.
There's a bunch of beautiful cars over here. A bunch of cars that we grew up frothing over, we grew up thinking about, and now we're actually standing in front of them. I want to let Jason take us through each car and just give us the quirks and features.
I challenge you, anyone who's watching this who's never driven a Mark 1 Volkswagen,
Then tell us why he enjoys having them in his man cave.
I've had this car for 28 years.
Would you say this has been your oldest companion?
It's my forever. If there is such thing as a forever car, if I could be buried in this car, I would be. Sure.
Jason?
Sure.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm home. I'm always good when I'm here. Yeah, this whole man cave thing was a dream, lifelong dream, and it winds up being a dream that needs to happen because you get old and you can't lie on the ground and work on cars anymore. So I needed a lift, and I can't fit a lift in my garage, so I had to buy this so that I can fill it with my cars that break all the time and hate me. And so we have Honda Beat.
JDM boys.
This is so stupid. You're gonna find a theme here. Is if it makes me laugh, it gets free admission. This is a 656cc 3-cylinder with independent throttle bodies, and it revs to 8,500 RPM. Basically sounds like half of a 911, and it goes like a tenth of a 911. It's 64 horsepower, and it has zebra seats. And so you find me another car with ITBs, zebra seats,
and that's stock.
8,500. Yeah, this is 100% stock. This is from the factory. Pininfarina designed this car for Honda, which is just kind of hilarious. So yeah, I had an Elise, and I thought, what could I find that's a convertible that is smaller and less practical? Well, here it is.
So was it quite difficult to actually obtain this car over here in California?
Yeah, they are. They're not very common in the U.S. at all. This one was easy because I got a call from someone that I knew saying, "Hey, I found a Beat that's like 10 minutes from your house that's for sale." So somebody had already brought it in and done the U.S. paperwork, so it was an easy acquisition. But with these cars, they're not worth anything in Japan, which is great. But that also means it's not worth shipping it over. So people just, if you have the money to ship cars around, they're shipping around R34s and R33s, and not these, which makes this just rare, special, and stupid.
It's funny you mentioned that because these cars, they're actually very, very popular in Australia. So in Australia, we actually see them everywhere on the road, not just these, but the Daihatsu Copens.
Oh, I would love a Copen.
Yeah, so they're good fun as well, and it's crazy how these have turned into the new Honda S660s.
Yeah.
And the new Toyota Daihatsu Copens, they've turned into the Toyota Copen GR Sport.
Yep.
So what they're doing is they're bringing all that retro love back into new day and age, and they're putting in all the new technology in it, but they still drive the same. And
I haven't experienced any of them. We have no K cars in America.
They're fun.
Oh,
they're fun.
They have to be. I mean, look at this thing. It's fun just sitting there. When I park it at home, my neighbors all come running. Can we sit in it? Is it a real car? It's Honda. What is it? It says Honda on the back. That's not a real Honda. Yeah, it is. It says Honda as Honda gets.
It gets more attention than your supercars, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's more fun.
Keep that in mind.
Because I can floor it from a red light, keep my foot in it, shift at 8,500 RPM from first to second to third to fourth to fifth, and barely break the speed limit. And I'm floored for minutes at a time. Minutes, it makes the greatest noise. So.
And is that the original flare that came with the car, like down there?
No. This is actually this is a fire extinguisher. There's a company called Element, and they decided to make a dry fire extinguisher that weighs almost nothing, so it's not rattling around in your trunk and bashing everything in your car.
Look at that!
Yeah.
Wow. A fire extinguisher this size, everybody. This is insane.
Go check them out. They're made in Italy. I think it's made in Italy, and I bought one for each one of the cars because old cars can burn, and I don't want my cars to go away. And it fits right where the factory flare would be.
This is handy. This is very handy.
Plus, if somebody gets an attitude, just kidding.
You got the backup. All right, lovely. Now, we were chatting about this car earlier on, but I know this is your sweet love, your sweet baby. Give us a bit of it. You know, this is a.
It's a Volkswagen Scirocco 16 valve. So this is a Mark II Scirocco, but it's actually a Mark I Volkswagen, which is confusing. So there were two Sciroccos based on the original Mark I chassis. Mark I was the original Golf, so the A1 Golf, for example. Same thing underneath, just the sort of Giugiaro-inspired, low-roofed, sexy version of a GTI.
She's gorgeous.
Thank you.
That's a nice ass.
Thank you. That's a good
she's
ass. Paddable ass.
Yeah, very. Can I touch it?
Yeah, touch it. Go for it. Town whore.
There you go, guys. Hey, there it is, guys.
I mean, town bicycle. Had this car for 28 years.
Wow.
Bought it, actually my dad bought it for me, unknowing to him. He gave me a credit card for use in emergencies. And as far as I was concerned, it was an emergency and I needed it, and it was $1,500. I'm a nice kid.
Wow.
I could have bought a new Porsche. But yeah, just absolutely strikes the balance between practicality and fun. It is one of the best drives you will ever have.
Would you say this has been your oldest companion? One of the oldest companions?
It's my forever. If there is such thing as a forever car, if I could be buried in this car, I would be. It's everything you want, nothing you know.
And just a quick summary again on your journey with this car. You mentioned earlier on that you've done 10,000 miles in this car? 10,000 kilometers in one go?
Yeah, it's my road trip car. So it's, this sounds really responsible, but good air conditioning, great stereo, great seats, great gas mileage, and a lot of power. And so if I had to pick one of my cars to just go and drive 5,000 kilometers in a week, it's this guy.
Kept it beautiful.
Thank you.
She's looking smick.
It's been through, I was 21 when I got this car. So obviously it went through irresponsible kid Jason, and somehow made it all the way through. But yeah.
She's still alive.
Still alive. I'd say it's a lifer. Never going anywhere. Drove it here.
Being
today.
a Volkswagen, you know what I mean?
There are problems. Volkswagens aren't always the most reliable and longest lasting cars on the road. And actually you'll see another car when we get further down that I built because I worry about this car so much and I don't want anything to happen to it.
Well, since we're on the topic of this one, why don't we go have a look at that one first?
Sure.
And then get back to the other one.
Okay. So when I said this is a Mark I Volkswagen, that platform was Golf. So Scirocco came first, but then Golf, Jetta, and Cabriolet, the convertible, and also a pickup truck. And so this is same era and strangely the same color. This was not,
I was about to say that.
Not on purpose. This is flash silver, but this was a Cabriolet that I bought as a daily beater because I live in a city, I live in San Francisco, and the roads are tiny and the parking spots are tiny. And I wanted one little fast, fun to drive convertible that I can fit for like 4 friends in. And there aren't too many cars that fit that bill. And my thought was I can have the Scirocco without risking anything happening to the Scirocco. So it's the same suspension, steering, brakes, engine, both of which are heavily modified, psychopathic 4 cylinders. So it's about 170 something horsepower out of a 2-liter 16 valve.
I don't want you to beat me up, but I personally think this looks gorgeous. It looks better than that one. It's just got an element of character to it. And I'm sorry, I don't want to get beaten up.
This is actually Giugiaro. So Giugiaro, Giorgetto Giugiaro, one of the most prolific designers of of the car industry's history, period, did the Mark I Golf and this car. And he did the Mark I Scirocco, and they sort of adapted the design for Mark II. It is a spectacular piece of industrial design. And what I like most about it is, I'll put the top down while we're talking, because you have a car that is the size of a shoe.
Yep.
And then fits 4 big guys.
The size of a shoe.
With no problem. Like that seat is gangsta slanted all the way back, but this is an actual interior, like an actual back seat.
The rear windows open also.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Then.
They're cranking.
Back then they thought of that,
Everything is cranking and goes down. And, because I'm me, it has Recaro seats and, 7,200 RPM, 16 valve, and makes all the great noises.
Look at that interior. This is from the 70s, right?
Yeah, 74 was when this all went into production, effectively.
Look at that interior. I mean, the character, the soul that interior has. Nowadays, cars don't even have that.
No.
And this car is, mind you, it's 1 million years old now.
I challenge you anyone who's watching this who's never driven a Mark I Volkswagen, go find one, especially modified with a little bit more power, to find a more fun car. For professionally, I've driven 3,000 different cars in my career, and then probably another 500 or something, for fun. And I don't think I've ever encountered anything as fun as this car. Anything. And it still keeps up with supercars on back roads, on bumpy, twisty back roads, because it's a hot hatch underneath. And it's, 0 to 60 in 5.5, 6 seconds. It's quick. Oh, yeah.
5.5 seconds.
That one's 5.4. This is like 5.7. I mean, it's quick, and it just puts a smile on your face. Like, life is too short to have a supercar. I'm sorry.
That's it.
We should all be searching for smiles. Plus, everyone laughs at you when you're in this car, which means it brings joy to everyone. And I am secure enough in my masculinity to drive this car anywhere. And it's got a big subwoofer, and
Really?
Oh yeah, of course. You got to be ghetto if everyone's gonna be making fun of you. Just turn
California.
the stereo up. You can't hear
it.
Yeah.
All right.
Fun car.
Awesome. Now, moving on to the next one. Now, we all love wagons, guys. Me personally, I am a fanatic about wagons. I don't care what anybody else says, and
They can be wrong if they want.
they can be, but they're wrong.
They're wrong. They're wrong.
So tell us a bit about this one.
So my dream car throughout most of my teenage years was an E30, and I wanted a 325i. It's one of the best sounding straight sixes ever made, in my humble opinion. One of the smoothest, best sounding, and the cars I thought were great looking. And I thought, if I'm going to go through the trouble to have a 325i, I'm going to find a wagon. And so I went to Germany in 2002. And I found this on a farm outside of Stuttgart, and it was worth nothing because these cars use so much fuel, and they're so expensive to insure because the engine's so built to insure and register, that it was cheaper than a 369. So I am owner number 750. I think I'm owner number 5, and I brought it home, and I've had it now 24 years. I can't do that kind of math. Had it a long time.
You've kept her in immaculate condition. Is this how she was, or this is?
Sadly not. So it was nice. It was a driver, and I hit a deer. I was out exercising it one night and hit a deer, and did a lot of damage. And I have really good insurance, and they were willing to pay me out for the whole thing. And I thought, if I'm going to mix paint, this is my deal. If I'm going to, once you start mixing paint and painting something, I was going to have to paint 2 fenders, a hood, the front end, 1 door, the roof, and what I said, no, let's do this right. Strip the car completely down, painted it perfectly. It was already mechanically perfect. Of course, this one also has a motor swap. There's 3 in a row that have engine swaps. A little bit more displacement, a little bit more power, and then full race suspension on it. And had a little bit of a fun.
The interior is brand new. I mean,
look at. Don't look that close.
Nah, she's gorgeous. I mean, for a car of this age,
it's 170,000 miles on this car, also.
And the back seats, they look like nobody's ever sat in them.
Well, no one has. Anyone in an E30's in the driver's seat. Just a funky looking car. I love the history of the E30 wagon. It was never supposed to have happened. It was one guy who worked for BMW built one, and management saw it in the parking lot and said, why don't you make one for us for production? And they did. So neat looking car. They're among the best driver cars of the 80s and 90s.
That's when BMW, they used to listen to us.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's got this thing, which is, come on.
Look
at that intake manifold.
Look at how the engine bay opens as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
to make it difficult to do a timing, you have to do a timing belt every couple of years in this car. And some German engineer was like, how do we make this as absolutely miserable as possible? Well, we'll put the timing belt is right here, so we put the hood right in the way. What are you going to do?
The evil German guy.
Evil German guys. No, just having fun. But, what's a car if not?
Now, talking about the evil German guy.
The evil Germans?
What is this? I mean,
this was not supposed to happen, but this is an 850 CSI, which is not the same thing as an 850i or 850 Ci. Those were regular BMW models. This is an M8. that M made and decided not to name it an M8. But the 850i was a Grand Tourer meant to compete with the likes of Ferrari and but also be a gentleman's sports car, meaning perfectly silent, perfectly smooth, perfectly comfortable with an emphasis on luxury and not driving. M got a hold of the car and touched everything. New engine, new brakes, new suspension, new everything. And then they made 1,510 of these cars for the world, 225 for the US. And this is one of them. And I was doing research on the car and drove one and thought, oh no, and bought it. So,
You know, not many cars make me want to cry. Okay, I'm being serious. This one makes me want to cry.
Good.
All right.
Good.
Looking at it, just the interior, the exterior, that old school BMW scent inside it as well. All these things. It takes me back to a time where things were much more simple.
Yeah.
You know, things were more real.
This was, I mean, I love that we say that because this was so complicated. There was the first car in the world to ever use a CAN bus. So everything was computer controlled, so the windows can close at 160 kilometers an hour automatically. But I mean, I'm sorry to say, you're near tears and you haven't even seen the actual reason I have this. Ta-da!
Oh, hoo, hoo, hoo.
That is, so
That engine is bigger than my dreams, by the way.
that is actually two of those engines combined.
Wow.
So this one is a 5.6 liter V12, 380 horsepower. And it is, trivia, the shortest gears of any manual transmission V12 car in the history of the world. Wow. So it's geared like a Miata. Barely hits 100 kilometers an hour in second gear. And so you get to hear, so you hear this revving, screaming through the gears. So many of these big engine cars will do 100K in first and 160 or 200 kilometers an hour in second and third gear. You're never doing that. Here in America, we drive so slow. But I want this car to just...
Feel the proper...
Yeah. Hear it screaming.
Can we look at that? I mean, look at that.
Yeah, it's not a bad looking engine. Not a bad sounding engine. But you have to... I did a little tricks on this one for sound.
So Jason's actually been kind enough. He's going to ship this car free of charge to Australia for us.
Yeah.
And we're going to actually drive this around Australia and see how it pans out. Right, Jason?
I think you should. Just fine. No problem. Just make sure there's no koala hair on the passenger seat or
I'll try my best.
Insert other absurdities. Yeah. No, lifelong dream for me. I always thought I'm not a sports car guy, as you can see. But there was something about the way this car looked when it came out that just made me weak. And I had a moment where I realized that I was doing research on the cars to do a video on it, and I thought life is short, and I could have money in a retirement account that I may not make it to use, or I can drive that account around and get horrendous fuel economy in something with a V12, and I chose that, and so.
More smiles per miles, right?
All right, that's it.
That's what we
At the end
call
of the
it.
day, no one's counting your bank account balance when you hit the ground. It's how many smiles do you have, and I wanted V12 smiles.
And I think this might be a bit weird to you, but those headrests in the car.
Boy, yeah.
Like-
They had to do it. This is another one of those, like, we look at it now and say, oh, the Germans are cool.
Like, damn.
But it's got no pillar, so there was nowhere to put a seatbelt, because this is all open, obviously. And so they had to figure out a way to mount a seatbelt to the seat. And they just came up with this wild...
Which is sexy.
Horn. Yeah.
It's sexy.
I agree.
And
I think this car is a rare, sexy German.
that is.
And you would think an Italian designed it, like so many of the other. I think these are a little bit sexy too, but I'm weird. So many of the best Italian, German-looking cars were actually designed by Italians. Giugiaro did half of them, but this was actually done by Germans.
And you got to answer this honestly, okay? Who's on your speed dial on that phone?
I wish the phone worked. It does do. I don't know if you remember. You may not be old enough to remember the sound they all made when you turn them on. They do a self test.
Even if I was old enough, I don't think I had enough money at that time to buy it.
So you're now requiring me to go into the key safe, which now I'm going to have to move because everyone knows where it is.
Ooh.
And you're going to have to
Check this out, guys.
Okay. Well, you're gonna hear two things. Number one, you're gonna have to hear the phone, and then you're gonna hear the engine.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought you'd never ask.
Listen to the phone sound first. Okay, you'll hear the car beep, and then the phone does its self-test. That sound. And then I can call you. I mean, yes. Well, I'm very important and very wealthy. Yes. Also very old, so my rubber is falling apart.
You
yes.
look very wealthy holding
I
it
do.
as well.
This is the epitome of wealth.
Your net worth just
Exactly.
increased a couple mil, you know?
Pennies, perhaps. Unfortunately, the network that these phones used to talk to no longer works, or I would absolutely be paying for service for
I
this.
think that's fantastic.
But then, you know, the actual best sound of the car makes it.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Do it.
Ooh! Music to my ears. Come here. Come on in. Look at that. I want you to see that ass right there. And that's how it was from factory.
No.
Okay, because I was worried. That
So
was
the only one modification that these cars need immediately is to get rid of the German seriousness. They just don't. Those are Ferrari mufflers that I put in there, modified to fit, so they look 100% stock. You can tell only if you really know the difference, but they fit perfectly in the factory locations and sound like that.
that just sounded like
Nuts.
I wanted to cry again.
Nuts.
I wanted
You
to cry
should
again.
Yeah, you should cry. If you want to cry, I'll tell you how much those mufflers cost on the secondhand market. I think new, they are certainly more than I have invested in this, and even used, possibly more than I paid for this car. But where you can't.
But it's worth
What
it.
is the point of having a V12 if you're not making kids cry?
It's illegal.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
illegal.
Should be illegal.
It's illegal.
Certainly
we should be
unconscionable.
thrown into the most hideous prison in the world.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. But yeah, so that is my midlife crisis car purchase, I feel.
Now this has been awesome, Jason, and
Thank you.
thank you very much for having us in your man cave.
Sure.
Extremely honored, extremely humbled, and this has been my personal lifelong dream as well, to see this car in the flesh and hear it and see it, and you know, even if I see a standard 8 Series, I'm all over it, right? But this is the 8 Series on roids, right? So, God bless you, man. This is
Thank you.
this is something
Appreciate
else.
that.
Appreciate
My
it. Thanks,
pleasure.
man. Cheers.
Anytime. Come back. Come back. Who knows what'll be in here next time?
Definitely, definitely.
To be continued.
ETC カードが挿入されていません。